Hello, Star Wars and unboxing fans. Welcome to a on the road episode of Darthtuba's Star Wars unboxing show. I am your host, Darthtuba, and again, before I get to all the the stuff about where to follow me and find my videos and stuff, I do want to let you know that this is a bit of a different episode because we are starting on the road, as I said. And where are we? Well, even up in Nowheresville that I live in New Jersey, there are places and things and events and activities that go on. About a week ago, there was a Star Wars celebration down in Orlando, which I could not go to. So, I wanted to do something, anything, that could maybe in some small way make up for that. There are a couple of things in the works. Okay, some of them might air before this episode does, but in any case, there was an event taking place in Parsippany, New Jersey, where it was only about a 40-minute drive from me, so I decided to take a little time and go check it out. And it is this, Chiller Theater. Now you might wonder, what is Chiller Theater? Well, for those who are uninitiated, Chiller Theater is essentially the sci-fi and horror expo that happens, I guess, in many places, but it happens here in New Jersey a couple of times during the year, or every couple of years or whatnot. I'm not a big follower of it. I did go to one many years ago, and when I did that, actually, I remember I went with a friend of mine, and we took my daughter, who at the time was about 3. Now, I was thinking it was a sci-fi event. I didn't think, I should have probably thought, well, chiller could stand to mean something about having the chills, being cold, being scary, so horror could have been a big part of it. I didn't know that at the time, or at least I was hoping it would be more sci-fi. So I went there, and it was an abundance of blood and guts and gore and special effects that made all that blood and guts and gore. So thankfully I did not damage my daughter too much, I don't think. I mean, she's an art major now, and she does have her, she's not into horror movies at all. She likes Doctor Who, and she likes a couple of other kind of Japanese animation things, so, who knows. But the funny story about that is I remember one time when we were there, my daughter was little, I had her on a little stroller, umbrella stroller, and we were walking, and my friend and I were walking with her, and this very tall, very large cosplayed character who looked like a demon was walking past, and he looked down at the girl, my daughter, and he looked back up at us and went, Meals on Wheels, and then he kept walking. It was hysterical and terrifying at the same time. So that's my funny story about Chiller Theater. Anyway, so Chiller Theater came back to New Jersey, and I just found out about it, so I decided, you know what, I'll go and take a look and see what's going on. Mostly it's a varied thing. It's not unlike Celebration, where everything is Star Wars based. This thing had everything under the sun, everything from pop culture to from the 50s and 60s, old music, autographs from every celebrity you can imagine. There were celebrities here, probably what you would consider B or C list celebrities that were signing and whatnot. But I did come across one item. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you the item now, and I will cut to a later clip, and we will do the unboxing back at the house. But this was a couple of weeks ago, you might recall, that I did an episode about Bandai, essentially the samurai figures. They're Star Wars characters, but inspired by kind of a reversed, since they were inspired by samurai, now these were samurai inspired by Star Wars. And we did a Darth Vader one. Well, I got a second one, and this one really kind of stands out. So it's this one, okay, which is essentially the Taikoyaku Stormtrooper. What drew me to this is this kind of hit on 2 levels. It's a Stormtrooper, it is Star Wars, and it's obviously done in a samurai warrior, but this one is playing a bass drum. Now obviously it's a taiko drum, which is part of the Japanese culture, but for me, I couldn't get past the fact that, well, being a marching band director in my day job, this kind of floats between the 2 worlds of marching band and Star Wars, which rarely do those 2 worlds meet. So this is the unboxing that I will be doing now. So we're gonna cut to the next video. We'll be back in the Darthtuba unboxing studios, and we will take care of this, okay? So I just wanted to kind of let you know immediately after, because I was really excited when I saw this. There was not a lot of Star Wars stuff out there, so this is really cool. So we will get to it in a moment. Cut to the studio.
Well, once again, we're back in the Darthtuba studio, and as you can see,
I have the item in question that we've been talking about. Before we get to this, I do want to just kind of give you my thoughts on Chiller Theater. For those who don't know, Chiller Theater is essentially a horror, sci-fi, pop culture little convention. I think it is a chain. I think they do them in other places, and it is. They had one in Parsippany, New Jersey, and it was in a kind of a small event. And it's funny because after watching all of the huge coverage that took place in Celebration Orlando, just a week or so ago, it's kind of interesting to see something a little bit different. In fact, I would say polar opposite different. It was much smaller, it was much tighter, it was very cramped, there was far less people. There were many people there, but it was still far less people than what you would have expected. And as if Star Wars Celebration was all things Star Wars, this event, Star Wars was, barely on the radar. Nonetheless, there were still a few vendors that had a few Star Wars items, and some people had some posters and some figures and a couple of artistic ideas, some original things. But this was the thing that I looked at. I wanted to pick up one thing, and this was the one thing I did. It was something different. It was something a little bit more, as I mentioned in the previous clip, geared, in my opinion, towards kind of my profession and my hobby. As I said, this was the Taikoyaku Stormtrooper, which is a Stormtrooper playing like on a taiko drum, which is kind of funny because when I'm not doing unboxing videos, which is most of the time, I am being a band and orchestra director at a high school, and that's what I do. And many people watching this video know this. But for those who don't, that's what I do. That's my day job. So to see a Stormtrooper actually holding and playing on a bass drum. Now, percussion is not my main instrument, but being that I do marching band, it is a very big part of marching band. I thought this was a definitive one that we had to have in the Star Wars collection. Although the salesperson who gave this to me, the vendor, suggested I keep it in the school. I would consider that, but my room, my desk, and everything can get very crazy in there. There's lots of stuff that goes in and out. Things go on, and I don't want to see this walk or anything, or just get damaged. So it is the Taikoyaku Stormtrooper. It is obviously, when you're looking at it, it has a lot of Japanese writing. It's Bandai. It's a 2016 figure, so it came out last year. Okay, and it has a couple of accessories. So why don't we just open it up and see what we got? Oh, looks like I'm going to have to do a little slicing here. There's quite a few of these Bandai figures that have come out. We had a Vader one that we've done, and I don't think I'm going to collect all of them, and I think there's just way too many. But I do think that this is something that I will probably, look into from time to time, just because I'm very fascinated by the different things that they have. All right, so it comes out in a little plastic covering, okay, which you pop out, and there you have, whoa, things falling out is what you have. Okay, so let me work on just getting the figure out. Now, I recall with the Darth Vader one that there was some issues with certain things, and I just want to make sure that we have the right setup here. Now, I definitely want to have this flag, but I don't want to do that if it's going to mean that I'm just making sure that I don't have to put this in here to kind of keep everything protected. Oh, looks like it goes on his back. Okay, so there we go. All right, so first let's talk about the figure. As you can see, and again, we'll do some close-up shots. Okay, it does not look like a Stormtrooper figure. It just has very specific imagery that has a few similar things. But why don't we do this? First thing I want to do is that this thing has I'm not sure what this is. Looks like it's some type of a skirt in plastic that I would really like to see not be there anymore. But I'm not 100% sure how to get rid of it. That is very weird. I wonder why they have that. Maybe it's protecting the belt. All right, so you know what? Actually, I think I'm going to just leave it on for now. Maybe I'll look into getting it off later. Okay, so now it has a couple things we got to do here. We have a looks like there's your Taiko bass drum. I don't want to force this, but I'm thinking this could be tricky. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. Now his hands look as though they come with multiple types of different hand positions. I think I'm going to go with the actual. Oh, last time I did this, unfortunately, it. Okay, that was easy. Now let's see if this is as easy. I'm looking to try to find. Yeah, this is tricky. You see, the problem with these is that, again, I think the workmanship of the actual stuff is questionable, because it's not easy to replace these things. Like you see the. I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. It's very challenging to get that in there, but I guess once it's in, it's in. That works out, and I got to do the same thing with this one. Woo! See, I'm telling you, I like these things a lot. I really do, but they're not easy to. If you could take them out of the box and then just display them, great, you're good. But these are really, really a challenge. And again, these are not meant to be toys that you play with. These are meant to be toys that you display, which I'm all for. I'm good with that. But there we go. All right, I got that one now. Good. Let me get his little bass drum mallets. It's a cool view there. By the way, I want to point out my Skywalker of the Week shirt. I don't think I had this on in a previous episode, but I was, in fact, the Skywalker of the Week on Rebel Force Radio, which I was. No, sorry. Check that. Not Rebel Force Radio. Love Rebel Force Radio. Also great podcast. But I was Skywalker of the Week on. Let's start that over. I do want to point out the Skywalking of the Week shirt I am wearing. I was selected to be given that role of Skywalker of the Week a few weeks ago on Skywalking Through Neverland, and I very much am honored. I got a great jingle written by none other than Rob Dellinger, the John Williams of podcasting, from that show, and I was very excited about it, and I very much am looking forward to maybe using that jingle in future episodes. I have not. Before I do that, I want to reach out to Rob Dellinger and make sure he is okay with that, because I do not want to do it without his permission. So we will see what he says when that happens. And this looks like just like something that he has to wear like that. I am not sure what this is, so I'm actually going to keep it back in here. And then we have the. Oh, maybe that's what this is. Aha! This goes in here. That's his flag, and here that sits in there, and there he has his pole. Now the question is, you put a bass drum in front of a person, it's kind of hard to have him stand. But let's try it. There he goes. Back a little bit. There you go. You see, he's got his bass drum. He's got his flag. It's kind of a drum line and color guard all in one. Who knew? All right. An awesome toy. My only complaint about the Bandai toys, and this kind of extends even to some of the other higher end collectibles like Sideshow and Hot Toys, is that they come with removable wrists that you with different hands, so you can have different gripping and different posing. It's a very popular thing now. Even some of the figures from the Black Series, the 6-inch Black Series, have multiple hand options, and those are great. But they should be fairly easy to do, and I think that the companies that make them, they don't take them fully into account when they're making them, and when people want to change them, sometimes they're easy to change, sometimes not so much. So toy companies, and I'm talking specifically Hasbro, Sideshow, Hot Toys, anybody, Bandai, anybody who makes these, please make those optional hand changes a little bit better, okay? But the figure itself, other than that, it's great. It's fully posable. Still not sure what the plastic underneath is, but I'm going to leave it for now. Just a great toy altogether, and I like them. I like the Bandai ones. I love that there's like kind of a reversed, I guess you could say, inspiration going on. The Star Wars was self-inspired by the Japanese storytelling and among other things, and I think that's fantastic. And now it seems like the Japanese toy companies are kind of returning the favor, or returning the compliment, if you will, and are providing their own inspired samurai warriors and Japanese style cultural imagery inspired by Star Wars. So I think that's a really cool thing. And I have to say, the box art is also great, the box photo. So if you do want to keep it in the box, and again, ironically, Skywalking Through Neverland, we have a friendly disagreement in terms of what toys should be kept in the box versus taking them out and unboxing them and displaying them for everyone to see. I obviously prefer the latter, but my colleague and friend in the Skywalking universe, Richard Woloski, he likes to keep everything perfectly uncarded. But I believe that there's room for both. So to each their own, and that's a good thing. I like taking these out. I think these are really cool, and I haven't decided yet if it's going to go here in the Darthtuba Studios, or if it's going to end up in school and be placed on a shelf for people to look at and admire from afar. We'll see. But anyway, that is this week's episode. I have to do some serious editing on this one. So with the little previous clip that we put together, I hope you enjoyed it. I thank you for watching. Be sure to check out all my other videos on YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel, Darthtuba, 2 words, or you can go to Instagram or Twitter and follow me at Darthtuba, or you can like my Darthtuba Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook, and you can email me, darthtuba77@gmail.com. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, and may the Force be with you.